Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to the Wetlands Pack DLC showcase for Planet Zoo. Today we'll be adding the last animal from this Wetlands Pack DLC that belongs in this zoo for now. I'll explain that in a bit more detail after the time lapse. I don't want to belabor it twice in the same video, but this basically concludes the Wetlands Pack DLC coverage for now. And as soon as I'm able to, I'll be diving into the next DLC pack again, just as a reminder, in case you missed me mentioning it during the previous episode. That'll actually be taking us to a new zoo where we won't be facing as many, issues like frame rate struggles and things like that. So we will be kicking off a new sandbox zoo with that next DLC as soon as I'm able to get my hands on it and as soon as I'm able to, showcase all of its fun new elements. We might actually investigate some other new features beyond just the animals that are coming with the free update as well, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on all that in the comments down below so I can plan accordingly, as the DLC is pretty much around the corner. But enough talk about the future, let's talk about the present. But first, a little bit about the past, I guess. I was so, exhausted, I guess is the only word for it, with all the sort of research that went into the previous two enclosures. Because when I do research, I try to go all in and find all the details and nooks and crannies, and I try the most important thing, one of the most important things when it comes to researching, especially lesser known cultures, lesser known peoples, lesser known elements, let's say, to put a generic term to it. One of the most important things, in my opinion, is to have multiple sources and to verify your sources. And in doing all that, a lot of time was spent for both of the previous two enclosures. And so when it came time to do this enclosure, I was like, I need just the once to step away and have something a bit more casual, a bit more relaxed, and put a bow on this DLC with something a bit more, in a way, simple. That is to say, not as involved in the meta sense, where I'm digging through, countless pages of information to verify data and find inspiration. So, for this, I wanted to create more of a natural space. Well, as natural as it is to have a walkway over top of your head, but I wanted to create a more, a bit more of a nature-inspired space, and a bit more inspired by like an actual zoo experience, perhaps. We've had overpasses before as well, but this, I feel like, encapsulates a much more kind of, I guess, almost expected layout in a zoo. And it felt nice to go back and do something a bit more simple for this last one. I call it simple. I hesitate to use that word because, as you saw at the beginning of this time lapse, getting that overpass to be made out of soil, is no simple thing. Getting all the colors right, making the rocks look like they blend properly, that stuff is still not the easiest thing to to do sometimes. But yeah, didn't want to overdo it. That's not to say that I didn't do some research. I went digging for details about the spectacled caiman, and I wasn't able to find too much, if anything. Even I found some tangential things that weren't actually about the spectacled caiman, but were about crocodiles in general, and like crocodile myths and stuff. I'm like, well, that's not the same thing. But yeah, I mean, if you know any interesting stories, feel free to share them in the comments down below, and I'd be curious to read up on them. But I wasn't able to find anything, and as I was doing my research, and like I said, I did do some research, and as I was doing it, I was like, I just want to make a nice, charming enclosure this time. And I think it's just the result of how much reading I'd been doing lately. Variety is the spice of life, after all, right? So it's good to change things up every once in a while, and that's what we're doing today. Using one of my favorite plants, the giant rhubarb. God, every time I see it, it's just like, yeah, oh, looks great. What a great addition. That got added with the South America pack, if I recall correctly. Great addition. And the caiman is a relatively small animal. They don't require too much space. I wanted to be a bit more cognizant of that as well, and try and create a space that's a bit more fitting for the actual animal itself, rather than overdoing it. I gave them a little sunbathing spot over there. Couldn't fit the underwater feeder, and I was a little nervous that the underwater feeder not being able to work meant that I didn't have enough deep water and I'd have to come back and make some adjustments. But fortunately, that turned out to not be the case. They don't actually need deep water, and we're actually fine in terms of their land requirements and everything as well. So that's all good. But yeah, you know, a little bit of water to swim in. They don't move around too much, right? They're relatively stationary and sedentary animals, right? So a little bit of water for them to bathe in, a little bit of rock for them to sunbathe in, some shade for them to take cover as well, and then a couple spaces to run around for when they get their rare bursts of energy. We have and I mentioned this after the time lapse as well, so I apologize for repeating myself, but we have the other Caiman Enclosure, which I made absolutely massive, just huge, and I definitely have some regrets there. I like that enclosure, and we'll take a look at it again after this time lapse too, actually, for just a moment. But as much as I like that enclosure, it always felt a little funny to me that we have this giant space, but all these itty bitty little, caiman walking around. It just felt out of place, and I wanted to avoid that feeling here as well. So I created a bit of a, again, smaller enclosure, a bit more of a realistic enclosure, if you will, a bit more of a contained enclosure that I think makes a bit more sense for the animal. And then just kind of like capping it off with a couple of trees on the outskirts. And I didn't really like how the terrain looked over here. Again, the jagged edges, and I talk about this after the time lapse as well, but the jagged edges are one of my larger issues, one of my bigger issues with building and terraforming in Planet Zoo. The other one being, of course, that you can't scale items, but that is something I really wish would work a little differently. I understand that there are technical limitations, and I understand the technical limitations here, but there's got to be a solution out there somewhere. But the jagged terrain made me have to like build this entire planter section, and I don't mind how it looks. I'm quite pleased with how it looks, but it's not really what I had in mind at first. It works, but I wish I could have done my initial plan instead, which was to have like this sheer drop off, kind of a cliff kind of a feeling. But not the end of the world. I mean, it does the trick, it does the job. It feels similar to what I had in mind. But that's pretty much all the big picture stuff. I wanted to add a little waterfall in as the last piece. I don't know, it's like synonymous to me with the Amazon vibe, so I had to get the waterfall in there, but that's pretty much the time lapse. I think I go in and I clean up some of these jagged edges as well, a little bit of cleanup here and there, get the rock texture in as well. But yeah, here is where you can see me actually really going in there and spending way too much time on trying to fix some of these jagged edges, because I have no other option. I can't just put some plants down. But anyway, that is the time lapse, folks. I'm back to regular speed. Alright, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and we are more or less done adding all the animals from the Wetlands Pack DLC. I mean, technically, we do still have the habitat animal. I forget the term. That's the term, right? Habitat animal for the ones that live in their little boxes. We do still have, I think, one or two. I think there were a couple with this Wetlands Pack DLC, but I've been planning something for a while now, and I realized it just occurred to me during this time lapse while I was doing all this work here. It occurred to me that I hadn't shared my plans, so maybe now is a good time to do so. But I realized that over the course of so many DLC, I have like, I've got one of the I've got a habitat animal somewhere over here, I believe. I can't even find them, which is actually, I guess, part of the point I'm going to be making, which is that I'm hoping to create sort of a central spot for all of them. I think I got one in here. Yeah, I've got one in here. There's like another one somewhere. I don't know. They're all spread out. But again, my point being, they've just been so spread out that if we ever want to go back and look at all of them, I literally would have to like go back to the episodes to find where they've all ended up, just so I can find them in the zoo. So instead, what I wanted to do, and what I've wanted to do for a while now, is wait until a couple more DLCs sort of pile up, and then create a building or a shared space where a bunch of the habitat animals live. Is that the right word? Habitat animals? Exhibit animals. Exhibit animals. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry. So, the European DLC, we still have to explore. We've got one from the Wetlands Pack DLC. I say one, but I'm pretty sure it was more than one. Either way, we've got the new DLC coming up. If that's got any exhibit animals, any further DLC that the folks over at Frontier decide to develop, if they have any exhibit animals, we'll add them as well. And once a bunch of them accumulate, we'll go ahead and we'll build a space, because that to me becomes a bit more interesting and intriguing, and there's a bit more problem solving involved, rather than just plopping an individual one down and building a cover for it and calling it a day. So I thought that would be a bit more interesting. So with that said, this is basically the last of the DLC animals we'll be adding. from the Wetlands Pack DLC for now. And then when we're done with the next DLC, when we come back for the European pack, maybe at that point in time we'll visit all of the exhibit animals, or maybe it'll just stay focused with the European pack animals at the time. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, this is the final addition to this zoo for now. Because again, as a reminder, I will be starting a new sandbox zoo when the next DLC drops, because the frame rates and stuff have become kind of crazy at this zoo for the last little while, and I think starting a new zoo is the right call to make sure it's all still enjoyable to watch as well as play. And I mean, you can see how slowly terraforming works even when the game is paused. It's very janky, and it's been like this for a while. So it's time to start a new sandbox zoo. Now, I did see some of the comments mention that it'd be nice to maybe start a new franchise, like a conservation-focused franchise zoo or something like that. I don't think that's in the books right now. I think just, especially with the DLC, the benefit of the sandbox for the DLC is that it lets me get in there and not have to worry about things like money and just like the nitty-gritty details. That's a lot of fun in franchise mode. All that stuff would slow down the coverage of the actual DLC. If you think about, for example, Elite Zoo South, I don't think I'll ever forget how our first big construction there set us back many episodes, because I spent way too much money and it took us forever to make that money back. And I don't necessarily want that to be the tone of this DLC coverage. I much prefer, as much as I like the challenge of the franchise mode stuff, I much prefer the sandbox and how it just lets us kind of coast and try some fun stuff and explore some interesting ideas and not have to worry about money. So yeah, I don't think a new franchise is in the books right now. We'll see if something else comes. If something huge comes for Planet Zoo, we'll revisit the conversation about a next franchise zoo. But I just wanted to address that because I saw it mentioned, and I thought it'd be worth mentioning. There were a couple other things mentioned as well about the upcoming DLC. Don't worry, I do read all the comments still, even if I don't have a chance to reply to every single one of them. I do still read them all, and I do still take them into consideration and stuff. So I just want to mention that really quickly. But that one in particular stood out to me in case a lot of people had that question potentially, or a lot of people were wondering. I just wanted to answer that. For everyone. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the spectacled caiman. I'm really excited to see them in this space and how they interact. I'm hoping they're able to come up over here and you just kind of sunbathe basically on this rock. I quite like this little section as well. We've done this a couple of times, but it always feels nice to be able to pull it off with just the path on the ground. Though this does remind me, I really wish whenever they get the chance to do this, if there's a Planet Zoo 2 coming, or if there's a Planet Coaster 2 coming, or whatever it is, I hope they figure out a better way to do the terrain where it doesn't end up so jagged sometimes. And I know why this is happening. I understand the technical, what's going on behind the scenes technically over here, as far as how the polygons are being morphed and everything is triangles in video games and stuff. So I can see the vertices are being pulled and some vertices are staying back. But if they get pulled, you get these weird shapes. And I get it. But surely. People much smarter than myself will be able to figure out a way to avoid this kind of jagged look, or I don't know. It was, I don't know if you noticed during the time lapse, it really bothered me to the point that I went back in there and I spent way too much time trying to fix it. Felt like nothing during the time lapse, I'm sure, but in real time it was way too much time spent there. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the spectacled caiman, which is what we're adding today. There are two caiman in the game now. There's the Cuvier's dwarf caiman, which is also in this zoo, and now there is the spectacled caiman. So yeah, let's dive on in, and then we'll get them into the zoo and see how they feel about the space. So the spectacled caiman, also known as the Caiman crocodilus, it is of least concern with a population of about 4 million in the wild. Nice. The spectacled caiman, or Caiman crocodilus, is a mid-sized crocodilian that lives in the wetlands, savannas, and forests of Central and Southern America. I keep forgetting that this game does not do the Oxford comma, and it still throws me off every time. Spectacled caimans may be green, brown, yellow, or gray in color, with... Have they always done American spelling? Sorry, I know I make a... I don't mean to make such a big deal out of it, but it's just always so strange to me. I'm sure I've mentioned this before as well, but So in Canada, we kind of have a blended approach to to English, but things like color, like where it's a matter of having the U in the word, Canada does that. So it always stands out when I see it not done, especially by a developer who's in the UK. But also in my previous career, like before I got into YouTube and stuff, I had to do a lot of like layout work for stuff that was in the United States as well as Canada. And so people were very particular about spelling things the American way because it would just spelling things the British way is a harder sell in the United States than spelling things the American way in Canada. People are just like, okay, fine, it's the American spelling. It's funny, but that's what it is. And so it stands out to me every time I see it. It stands out to me because it's a part of my it's a part of my life. It's left a mark in my life, so it stands out. So sorry, I digress. Spectacled caimans may be green, brown, yellow, or gray in color, with banded markings along the tail and body. They're named for the distinctive bony ridge running between their eyes, giving them the appearance of wearing spectacles. Yeah, okay, okay. Like, sure. There's a whole other part of spectacles that I feel like are missing. But sure, I see what they're putting down. Okay. The body of the spectacled caiman is slender, with further raised ridges of scales down their back. Males of this species measure 5 foot to 6.6 feet in length on average, though can grow over 8.25 feet long with age and weigh between 28.6 pounds and 88 pounds. Females are smaller, measuring 3.6 to 4.6 feet in length on average, up to 6.6 feet for larger and older specimen, and weigh between 15.4 pounds and 66 pounds. Okay. I was like, whoa, that's a huge range, but I guess that's a similar range based on their size, right? I assume their reproduction is going to be similar to some of the others we've seen recently that are like, oh yeah, they become sexually mature at such and such age, but it isn't until 10 years later that they're able to actually do anything because they're not strong enough at first. But anyway, spectacled caimans are not endangered and categorized as species of least concern. Though they may be hunted for their skin, the global population is not affected by this, and due to their adaptability and range, they're also not threatened by habitat loss. Well, that's nice. Because they have a very large range. I knew them to be in South America. Didn't realize they stretched so far into like Central America as well. But they have a very large range, and it looks like aquatic and tropical. Grassland I could have added, but I did aquatic and tropical. What I'm worried about is, okay, good. I was worried they would need deep water when I noticed the underwater feeder, so I was a little worried about that, but no, it looks like we're okay. Hopefully we have enough water in here as well. I hope so. I feel it might be a little tight, actually. This time I challenged myself and I tried to make a smaller enclosure and be a bit more close to what they would actually need. And I might have overdone it, or I guess underdone it, as the case might be. Either way, species data group size, excluding juveniles, is 1 to 6, 1 male, 5 females. Male bachelor group size and female bachelor group sizes are the same, 1 to 6. Dominance is males fight defend. Ooh, okay, there's a word missing there. Males fight to defend territory and available females from rivals is what I think it's trying to say. Mating system is polygamous. A relation with humans is confident, but guests cannot enter the habitat. That always gets a chuckle out of me. Size on average for males is 13.2 feet long, and for females it's 4.6 feet. The average discrepancy in size is massive. That's huge. That's like a 1 to 3, right? Wow. Life expectancy on average is 50 years across the board. Weight is 58.3 pounds on average for males, 40.7 on average for females. Sexual maturity is at 6 years. Sterility is at death. Number of offspring per mating event is 3 to 8. Gestation of 1 month. Interbirth of 24. And reproduction in captivity is average. Ooh, I think we're going to be very hard pressed to see baby spectacled caiman in this run. Maybe when we come back for the European animals, we'll catch a couple. But right now it's going to be tough. Social needs. Spectacled caimans are generally solitary animals, but may live in loose groups and tolerate other individuals, provided there is enough space. Males will, however, be aggressive towards each other during mating season. Reproduction. In spectacled caimans, breeding season occurs during the wet season from May to August. Territorial males will allow females to live on their territory, but will aggressively chase off other males. Males may roar to attract females and intimidate rivals. Wow, really? Have I ever heard? I don't know if I've ever heard a crocodile or a crocodilian roar, or an alligator. Have I heard any such? Have I heard the other caiman roar either? I don't think so. I'm curious now. If a female on his territory is receptive, he will initiate a courtship ritual which consists of both rubbing their backs, vocalizing, circling, and blowing bubbles at each other. That's adorable. To mate, he will grasp the female and align their cloacas. Cloacas? Cloacas? That word always throws me off. After mating, the female builds a nest out of mud and sticks on the male's territory, which will be circa 3.3 feet wide and 16 inches deep. Is that what CA dot is? I'm guessing that, because I'm used to circa being C dot. I'm sorry. A lot of the writing here is really throwing me off, but I'm very curious what CA dot means, because like I'm sure they don't mean like chartered accountants, right? And circa I've usually seen as a C dot, but circa is also typically a like a date thing. Use it for dates. It means approximately, but it's typically used for dates. I have not seen it for other measurements. But yeah, apparently it is circa. All right, cool. At least I guessed correctly, as much doubt as I might have. Usually I'm used to seeing like the little tilde to say approximately. Anyway, she will lay a clutch containing between 40 eggs, but typically averaging around 20 eggs. The nest will be covered by vegetation to incubate the eggs, while the female, and rarely also the male, will guard them. Eggs begin to hatch after around 3 months. Hatchlings call their mother's attention by producing high-pitched cries, which prompts her to remove the vegetation from the top of the nest to assist them. The hatchlings will remain close to their mother for the first 18 months of their lives, where she will watch them closely for protection. However, they will hunt their own food. Whoa, really? Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. Past this period, she will begin being aggressive towards her offspring to encourage them to disperse and find territory elsewhere. Jeez. Spectacled caimans reach sexual maturity between 4 to 7 years old, usually at a length of 14.6 feet for males and 4 feet for females. Male caimans are more likely to secure a mate when they are larger, so may not immediately mate after reaching maturity. Yeah, as predicted. Cool. Hey, learned a new pattern from out in the wild because of Zoopedia. Love it. As far as stuff, nothing they have is unique to them. As far as I saw, that's correct. Yeah, everything's stuff we've seen before. And as for the fun facts, fun fact number 1, in long periods of drought, spectacled caimans may hibernate in the mud until environmental conditions improve again. That is actually rather interesting. Realize, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense, but cool. Fun fact number 2, the eyes of the spectacled caiman reflect red in low light. Isn't that the... No, it's not. Huh, that's pretty cool, actually. Huh. Fun fact number 3, when crocodile numbers in South America declined, spectacled caimans were hunted for their skin for leather production. Although the skin of spectacled caiman is very bony and is such less desirable for commercial use. When crocodile numbers... Oh, I see. So when South America started running out of crocodile skin, their skin was replaced with spectacled caiman skin, but that skin wasn't as good for commercial use. Got it, okay. Misunderstood that the first time. Fun fact number 4, spectacled caiman. I feel like the plural of spectacled caiman having an S at the end, it just throws me off. Spectacled caimans mainly feed on fish, crustaceans, and mollusks, though seem to also consume plant matter as part of their diet. Cool. And finally, spectacled caimans have few predators due to their size and role in their ecosystem. Humans, jaguars, or other adult caimans are usually the only predators capable of killing an adult spectacled caiman. Isn't that basically near apex predator status? I guess there's one step above them in the jaguar. Humans, I feel like it's unfair to count us as part of the system because humans will kill anything for any purpose, right? Like, I feel like it's a little unfair to... I'm sorry, not to say that we shouldn't be included in this paragraph. I think we very much belong in this paragraph. But as far as the consideration for them being near the apex of their ecosystem, I guess the jaguar is the only thing that stands above them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I very well may be. But good stuff. Interspecies enrichment, as you can imagine, nothing. They barely like themselves. I wouldn't expect them to like anybody else. Over to the market. Let's go ahead and pick up 1 male and 2 females. Yara will be one of our females. She's got at least the silver ranking. We'll get Taquito. I kind of like the name Taquito. It's got a little charm to it. And Pedrina, let's go for it. I like the name Daniel too, but like I know a lot of Daniels in real life. I don't know a single Taquito in real life, so it's got a different kind of vibe to it, you know. Over to our management area. God, those buttons they're so good. I'm so glad they were added. Let's get them in here. Habitat 38. We have 38 habitats in this zoo. By the way, I went ahead and decided to add one more waterfall. I tried to like have some restraint and avoid more VFX because I'm pretty sure that's a huge hit to the frame rate, but I couldn't help it. It doesn't really feel like a South American paradise without that sound in the back, right? But yeah, I'm very pleased with how the space looks overall. Pretty pleased with how the land bridge looks as well. It was a bit of a struggle trying to get some of this to blend nicely. I might have added some more rocks and stuff underneath. The thing is, like, I'm trying to be a bit more careful about the pieces we add. This is how it always goes. I start every new zoo just adding hundreds of pieces for the smallest of things, and then by the time I come to the end of that zoo's life, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can add another rock here because the frames, man, the frames. But I'm pretty pleased with how this looks overall as well, and I like the concept of the space as well. You've got like the viewing from over here. Hopefully they can come up over here, and you can get pretty close. Actually, I don't think spectacled caimans can jump, so you can get pretty close and stay safe. Hopefully they're not able to climb up this. It's a little steep. I think it's a little sheer for them. And then back over here they have their mud bath, and they've got their like little blood scented thing as well. So there's a good variety, good spread. But I'm really hoping to see them climb up over here and sunbathe. That's the thing I'm really excited for in this space, and I think it works quite nicely. But we'll see once they come through. It'll take a minute for them to come through. As we're waiting for them to come, though, why don't we go ahead and visit these guys over here again. I don't know how likely it is that we'll see a baby anytime soon, unfortunately. But we can keep our fingers crossed. Babies have been a little less forthcoming with this DLC. I don't know if that's just because I've been moving quicker or what, but yeah, babies definitely feel a little less forthcoming. You guys have also... offspring due January of year 36, right? Very soon then. Cool. Speak of the devil, right? We'll get some babies at least. January of the upcoming year. Cool. Waiting for our keepers to come through. Don't think they've arrived just quite yet. It is quite a distance as well. Like, they've got to come all the way from over there, I think. Or there, maybe? It's a long way to come. And there's, like, no guests out over here either. I guess I could put down a... what is it? If I really felt like it, I could put down a spawn point for guests out over here. Just to see how crowded the space becomes. How guests use it. Where would I put it? Where would I put it? Where it feels somewhat inconspicuous to have guests just populate from. One of the suggestions I'd received during the franchise mode playthrough was to use a toilet, basically, and pop it down in the toilet so it just looks like guests stepping out of the washroom. Pretty clever. Pretty clever. We don't have any washrooms, though, because we haven't really been caring about guests' needs, because it's the sandbox mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at these animals. I think I heard them arrive. Want to make sure they're actually able to push through. Oh, was I mistaken? I think I was. Okay, fair enough. It's a long gap. Oh, hello. On the topic of big gaps. Go ahead and block this thing off. There we go. But it's a long walk from the door to like the actual main area. A lot of motivation to go there, so I'm sure they will, but I'm gonna keep an eye out for. November, 2 more months until we get some babies over here. Where are these guys? Zoo. Oh yeah, they're here. Oh no, they're still headed here. Did I put them in the wrong spot? I did, didn't I? Oh my god, what the hell? No. How did that happen? Over here. That's what I was like. 38 sounds a little on the low side. Oh no! Oh my goodness. They're in. They need to be in 41. Oops, that could have been really bad. I'm glad nobody got eaten. These poor capybara. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's terrifying. Not bad. Not bad. Alright. Listen. It's adorable. Thought I saw... Yep. Baby capybara swimming. Are you kidding me? So cute. Trading places. Yeah, that was a big mistake. But putting the Caiman in here, I'm surprised I didn't get any yeah, baby capybara just got eaten notifications. Whoops. I think they've all been picked up now. You've got one, you've got two. Where's number 3? Ah, there's number 3. Cool. Alright. Oh boy. That could have been bad. We have a baby over here. Not yet? Is it not? No, it's not January. That moves a lot slower than I thought, actually. I always felt like it moved pretty quickly, but only just the end of November. Alright. Here they come, for real now. God, yeah, don't think I'll ever forget that moment. Alright. Lob him in here, come on. Might have to adjust the terrain and stuff a little bit, right, of course. So tiny. What a smile. Such a smile. Pretty pleased overall. Needs a bit more rock. Okay, that's good. That's good. Not gonna complain about that. Where are we? Rock. More here. More over here. There we go. Cool. Nice and easy. What about everything else? They've got plants they're all happy with. Yeah, everything else is fine. Cool. And this is Yara, the female. Is this the male at the back there? Taquito? Yeah. Injured. Oh man. Don't have time for that. Don't have time for you to be injured. But you can see the size difference, eh? Can they actually get anywhere? Imagine they're a very lazy animal, right? Are they able to push through? They are not able to push through. Blocking them. Everything's blocking them. Giant rhubarb plant is blocking them, I think. What about now? Come on, calculate. Surely they can get past this. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And they're able to get into the water. They're able to get up over here. Excellent. They're not going to escape. Nice. Quite pleased with that. Close that. There we go. Are they moving? Not yet. Forgot how lazy they were. It's okay. Eventually they'll want a drink of water or something, and they'll make their moves. Oh, there we go. They are so small. That's part of the reason I wanted to make this enclosure a bit smaller as well, is because, like, normally, again, I always overdo it, but also because I remember the Caimans, the initial one that we added many suns and moons ago now, they were way too small for the space I made them. So I didn't want that same feeling this time around. This is an interesting look. Oh god. It's a headstand. There we go. You're gonna climb on top of this thing is the first thing you do? The sunbathe? It is, isn't it? Come on. Go for it. Won't even blame you. Alright, guess not. Oh, standing right next to it instead. Fair enough. Just gonna lounge there. But yeah, just to show you really quickly what I mean. Where is the other? This is where the other Caiman are, and like now there's a lot of them, but like they're these tiny little things in this massive space. I felt kind of weird with that like ratio, I guess, the size to size ratio. We have, it is January. Have we had our baby yet? Not yet. Okay. Oh, offspring imminent. Stay here. Wait until the Caimans move a little bit, and then we can go back to them. I'm surprised I haven't done like an archipelago That's what I should. Oh man, hindsight 2020. But for the spectacled caimans, I could have made like an archipelago, like a chain of islands, and then we could call the enclosure the Cayman Islands. I feel like that's a missed opportunity that I'm gonna kick myself over for a very long time now. But hey, it is what it is. I'm sure there'll be another variant added at some point, and then we can go ahead and keep that in mind for then. Come on. Oh, there we go. There's the sit down, the delivery pose, I assume. Come on. Come on. Come on. Surely it doesn't pop out with the giant horns, right? There it is. Oh, what a cute... Can you imagine? Oh, God. Horrifying. So cute. See, it looks just like the female Nile lechwe. That's what I mean, like the bovine features of the head on the female of the Nile lechwe. Not exactly, but, you know, closely enough. To the untrained eye, such as mine is. Very similar. Very cute. Very big. About like half the size of the mom. Very cute, though. Look at those giant eyes. Let me see if I can't very quickly come back down over here. You know, you kind of see it. It's obviously not exactly the same, but you kind of see it. Oh, are they finally... Come on. Get him. Get him. Or do they just eat out of his, like, bags and stuff? They don't, like, rip him, tear him down. That's a... Just occurs to me, they're not carnivores. They don't typically like attack humans. Well, okay, they attack humans, but not to eat. Isn't it a little strange to have them eating out of a straw man? But he's still lounging over here. This guy's lounging over here. Anybody in like the mud bath or anything? No. Where's number 3? Number 3's still back there. You for real? Are you stuck there? No, he's just chilling. Alright, let's go ahead and call a vet. See if the injury's maybe keeping him in place. Come on, get up there. Yeah, I feel like the very loungy animals are probably not the most fun to watch in this space. Unless you're feeling like a lazy Saturday afternoon or something. Which I guess some of you might be if you're watching this on Saturday. Look at that. Look at how slow that is. Oh, come on. I believe in you, buddy. Go, go, go. Yes, do it. Do it. Do it. I'm just worried they're going to take a hard left and just go into the water instead. Keep going. Keep going. Yes, towards the sun. I'm curious, actually, what other... No, don't stop now. No, I deserve that for getting too excited. That's what I get for getting too excited. God, we were so close. We were this close to greatness. It's okay. It is what it is. I had high hopes. But he's still over here. I was gonna say, I wonder. I suspect that a Planet Zoo 2 is inevitable. Not necessarily anytime soon or anything like that, but I suspect it's inevitable. And I'm curious what kind of things they'll actually add, like, you know, animal sunbathing. They've been adding a lot of behaviors and stuff to Planet Zoo itself, which I actually thought would have been extremely difficult to do, to like retroactively add behaviors to old animals. But I guess they've been, I'm sure it's not easy to do, but they've been doing it a lot more than I would have expected, which is not at all. So that's been cool. But I wonder what else they're going to add to Planet Zoo. And I wonder, like, what makes, apart from visual upgrades, what kind of mechanics would one want to see in a sequel game, right? Because that's what a sequel for management and tycoon games are. It's an opportunity to build things from the ground up, add, you know, improve visuals significantly is one thing, I think, even though this game is absolutely gorgeous. That's one of the big things with sequels. But also, you know, what kind of new mechanics get introduced to help with the management stuff. I would like to see, like, Jurassic World Evolution 2 does a lot of interesting stuff that makes a lot of the management stuff a bit more heavy. Some of it gets a bit micro-intensive, but it is a lot more management-related stuff, like disgruntled staff and things like that, which you do get a bit of in Planet Zoo, but not nearly enough. Like, it becomes kind of irrelevant once you've got enough staff and money. It becomes kind of irrelevant. I would like to see the management side of things get pushed a little bit. Very much love the conservation focus and things like that. Obviously, the building systems. I've said this over and over again. The one big improvement the building system needs is the ability to scale objects, not just move and rotate, but also to scale them. That'll make a world of difference. But I'm curious. I'm curious if any of y'all have thought about what else you'd like to see in a Planet Zoo sequel, and yeah, just how people feel about that. Again, I don't know why I'm thinking about that so much lately. It comes to mind. I think the new DLC they just announced surprised me so much that I've now been like kind of thrown off in terms of my expectations of like, oh, I thought we'd get a DLC right now, or I thought we'd get a sequel before we get a DLC. But that is what it is. All right, folks. I think that pretty much calls it for this session, though. Oh no, wait, hang on. Ah, he's going to the water, is it? He's going to the water. Fair enough. Into the water he goes. Let's stand. I was hoping he was maybe going to go to a little spot there. But I guess not. Oh, some interaction maybe? Some movement finally, at the very least. Do a thing. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nope, just lasing at a different spot. Fair enough. Folks, I do think this is where we're going to go ahead and call it a session. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed the continuation of this mini-series. It's been quite the ride. It's been the most, certainly the longest stretched DLC coverage ever, if not just on this channel. But I do hope you enjoyed it. We explored a lot of very interesting cultures, a lot of very interesting visual styles. Managed to pull off some things that I didn't think would be possible, like the little rooftop decorations and stuff on some of these buildings. The level of detail on some of these shapes. Yes, I still have to complete them, but the fact that I was even able to pull them off to the extent that I was able to during a single time lapse, as long as it may have been, I'm quite pleased. I'm gonna be completely honest, very pleased. Some of the longest time lapses in this DLC coverage as well, like that one took forever, I recall. This one also took a very long time, if memory serves me correctly. A lot of boxed up animals over here. Unbox all, please. Very pleased with this space as well, though. One of the most zen spaces I've created, both literally and figuratively speaking. Really happy with how this space turned out. What was your favorite enclosure, though? I'd be curious to know everyone's favorite enclosure from this DLC. It's funny how far we've come from the early days of my Planet Zoo building to, well, now. Oh man, these guys were a lot of fun as well. The story, this story was so dark too. A lot of good storytelling, lots of good cultural exploration for me as well. Great opportunities to learn some new things that I didn't know about previously. Had a very fun time with all these great tales and the Jethaka stories and stuff. Oh man, this was a fun DLC to explore, and I hope you enjoyed exploring it with me, folks. This is, though, like I said, what we're going to call it today. If you had a good time, if you enjoy Planet Zoo on the channel, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know by hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference. Just lets me know what I should keep doing, what I should slow down, what I should pick up the pace on. Again, it's directly responsible for Planet Zoo continuously coming back, even when the going gets rough and it slows down. It keeps coming back, and it's because of your likes, your comments, and of course because of all of the channel members and patrons. A massive thanks to all of y'all keeping us alive and running smoothly, and of course a big ol' thanks to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.